Coming up on this episode of Iowa City in Focus, these kids take a stand against straws.
Because maybe some of it will get into the ocean.
Plus, the success of this senior center group can be chalked up to kindness. And learn about a neighborhood-initiated program that deals with traffic control. Get a quick reminder of the snow emergency rules as we head into winter. Finally, take a look back at the last season of City Park Rides.
They've been a tradition here in Iowa City for over 50 years.
And it all starts right now on this edition of Iowa City in Focus. We could all do more to be good stewards of the earth, and those efforts are not bound by age. A group of preschool students reminded us of that when they spurred an initiative to reduce the use of a commonly used item.
Today we're writing a proclamation.
Stop using plastic straws. I knew they were gonna listen. Our voice is powerful.
These small but strong advocates are taking the lead on a local endeavor to reduce the use of plastic straws, a topic that has been in the national spotlight.
Because it would be bad for the animals.
How did an Iowa City preschool class end up as the voice behind this environmental effort?
It started with a project that a University of Iowa student had brought to us called Prompt for the Planet.
The students were asked to think about what elements in nature would say if they could talk.
And so one of our little girls did the ocean, and what the ocean said to her was, "Please don't put plastic straws in me, baby turtles are trying to grow here."
This is Lena, whose family has spent time picking up litter around our community.
My brother and me picked up this small garbage. The most of this one thing that we saw was plastic straws. It made me feel kind of sad.
Even at a young age, these kids know that single-use plastics, such as straws, are doomed for the landfill, or perhaps an even worse result.
People might dump them into the ocean. That would make the animals sick in the ocean. The animals might think it's food.
Part of the Prompt for the Planet project included these creative sculptures made by art students.
There were big cardboard turtles that had plastic bags and plastic garbage in their insides, in their bellies, and that really moved the children.
That's when the kids decided to take action.
We wrote letters to the restaurants. We tried asking restaurants to not use plastic straws.
The kids delivered notes on foot, going door to door downtown, requesting that businesses ask customers first before handing out straws.
The kids learned after that it takes some hard work and some grit to make change happen.
One of the first restaurateurs to jump on board was Doug, owner of Big Grove Brewery, Pullman Bar and Diner, and St. Birch Tavern.
It was really cool to see the kids get involved in this, and we're talking about little kids, like 5, 6 years old, that were super pumped to come to the restaurant, meet us and talk with us, and I was really pumped to meet them too.
Doug had already made straws optional at the Solon location of Big Grove, after realizing what a wasteful item they could be.
You often see people take a straw out of their drink and lay it on the table. It never gets used. So essentially, it's opened up to be thrown away.
The restaurants still offer compostable or steel straws for people who need them, which is an important aspect to remember.
From the beginning, the children knew that straws are needed by some people.
Not only did the change make environmental sense, it provided an economical advantage as well.
So we were going through a couple of cases of straws a month to literally throw them away. And we decided that if we could switch to option and then still do the compostable ones, it made sense. It dropped our usage for straws down from about 2 cases a month down to about 2 boxes a month.
Around a dozen restaurants jumped on board with the Strawless initiative. And for those places that still automatically hand out straws, the kids are prepared.
We say no straws because we have a turtle pack, and that turtle pack has metal straws. They're a silver straw that's made out of metal. Mommy has reusable straws, squishy straws. I like to use those.
To further their efforts, the kids also wrote a letter to Iowa City Mayor Jim Throgmorton. Do you remember who the special visitor was?
The mayor.
Along with visiting the kids at school, Mayor Throgmorton also invited them to a city council meeting where he read the proclamation the kids wrote.
I hereby proclaim July 17, 2018 as Iowa City Strawless Initiative Day.
Inspired by the kids, a group of University of Iowa students have found a way to continue their efforts.
We've tried to look into how we could best continue this project because some things that we really care about are obviously lessening plastic use in Iowa City, but also continuing to empower voices, especially younger voices that typically aren't listened to by adults.
Expanded to reducing the use of all plastics such as bags and bottles, the Lena Project borrowed its name and logo from the kids.
Our logo is actually the Lena turtle that Lena drew. It's a very adorable turtle.
But it's also an acronym describing its goals.
Trying to lessen our footprint on the earth, lessen plastic use, empower all the voices and hear from people who we might not typically think of right away. Notice how we're using different pieces of plastic, just little things like you might not think about, and then act to better it.
From the college to the preschool to the city, this process has shown how people of all ages can make a difference.
We've also been working with the 100 Grannies, so it's really been a multi-generational effort.
A very fun thing to have the generation gaps not come into play and to have all of us care about an issue equally and all try to work towards solving it.
Your voices are strong.
The hopes are that the Lena Project can continue the conversations it started in this classroom and engage more people to think about the future of our planet.
We're trying to carry their mission and be their voice because although their voices are powerful and their ideas are important, it's our job as adults to do the work necessary to make that happen.
The Iowa City Senior Center is known for hosting a variety of fun activities. Tony Ugolini is going to introduce you to one club that is known for having a good time, and they're looking for new members to rack them up.
It's just fun to play, and someone makes a real good shot.
It was kind of an athletic support group.
It's just a good game.
Friday mornings at the Senior Center, you'll hear this sound ringing in the hallways.
I've been playing for 20 years. I'm not a very good player at all, but it's fascinating.
Before there was a women's pool league, it all started with a few ladies who would meet up to play each week.
There was just a couple that came, and we learned how to play pool.
I was one of the first 4 or 5, so it's been 20 years.
Over time, more players showed up to learn about the game.
And that's where it expanded, and suddenly we found that we had a whole team.
I think at the beginning we must have had at least 8 women, sometimes more, who would come every Friday and play.
The league offered a place to play, quite different from the dingy dive joints that are often associated with billiards.
The only one place I could find was in bars. It just wasn't very good, especially since at that time all bars were smoky.
And besides a welcoming atmosphere, the league is known for creating lifelong friendships.
We just enjoy each other, that's all. It's a good group of women.
It's a wonderful support system. It's been very valuable.
It's just a very friendly atmosphere.
Oh, close.
And the group is always looking for new members.
We have newcomers come, and they fit right in.
And while the skill range varies, the gals say it's more about the fun.
Even the best players are not consistently good. We're not professionals, any of us. Pool shark is a joke, you know.
We all began as klutzes, as newcomers. It was nice to have a group that were bumbling along and we all improved, and then when we started getting better players, we weren't so far behind.
They all support one another to sharpen their game.
This is a very friendly pool game, so we're always encouraging each other and sharing any good shot that somebody else has.
Even at our age, you can still improve.
So whether you're a good pool player or a novice, consider becoming a member of the Senior Center's Women's Pool League.
The game is interesting, the game is fun, and the people are wonderful.
While you may learn a few lessons on the table, what you take away from the group is so much more.
So for fun and whatever else comes in life, it's like pool. Take it and do the best you can. Enjoy along the way.
It's a good class and we have a lot of fun. The point is mostly to get the community involved and to let them know what we do.
The class is really great. It teaches you way more about law enforcement than you could ever learn by Googling or asking law enforcement.
And they get to see really what we do. They get an inside feel for what actually happens at the police department.
It takes you behind the scenes and gives you an inside view of what the officers face on a daily basis.
We try and cover highlights of each department. You just get a variety of things that we do. It's bridging the gap between the police department and the community so that they no longer speculate about what the police officers do, and so that they don't just see us out on the street maybe pulling over traffic or going to emergency call.
I wanted to take this class to further educate myself and be able to really support the people in blue who put on the badge every day.
Excessive speeding or traffic volumes in neighborhoods can cause issues in any size town. The City of Iowa City offers a program to curb that problem, which is neighborhood initiated instead of being imposed by the city. Did you know that the City of Iowa City offers a neighborhood traffic calming program?
We try to change things to slow traffic down.
It provides community members different ways to reduce speeding and traffic volumes on neighborhood streets.
It's neighborhood initiated, so somebody in the neighborhood thinks that there's a speeding problem on the street.
This program is not initiated by the city, so the first step is to complete a petition with residents along the portion of the street where traffic calming is being sought.
If they can get signatures from 50% of the households on the street, that triggers us to do a study.
Once a qualified petition is received, city staff will initiate a traffic study using highly specialized equipment.
We do a 72-hour study, both directions at 2 different places on the street.
The data collected provides a measurement of both vehicle volume and speeds. If those assessments meet the criteria for traffic calming, staff will further review the street section and propose a set of traffic calming measures. The approach for every street is different and can vary from increased police enforcement to physical changes in the roadway, such as speed humps. The next step is for city staff to hold a neighborhood meeting where they can lay out the different options. Prior to moving on to step 4, the city is trying something new to help neighborhoods get a feel for some of the more permanent and costly changes.
This is the first pop-up project demonstration that we've done, and we'll probably try to do more in the future because it does make the broader neighborhood aware that there is a traffic issue here, a speeding issue.
After completing steps 1 through 3, Lakeshore Drive was the site of the first pop-up demonstration in Iowa City.
We did a traffic study that showed us that they did qualify based on speeds. This is a street that we wouldn't allow speed humps on due to fire response times in the neighborhood.
So the city set up markers for the recommended options determined by the traffic study, which included 2 medians and a traffic circle.
It's a fairly wide street with little on-street parking. An alternative is to do a series of medians and a traffic circle to sort of pinch down the travel lane a little bit and slow traffic down.
The demonstration remains up for 1 week while neighbors get a feel for the proposed changes.
It's an opportunity for the neighborhood just to experience what it will be like.
If neighbors can agree on a method they want to try, the city will survey the neighborhood.
When we survey the neighborhood, we have to hear from 50% of the households along the street that we're studying. And of those that respond, 60% have to indicate they support the traffic calming measure in order for us to take it forward to City Council.
If the survey receives 60% or more support, the 5th and final step is review and approval. Staff will bring the traffic calming request to City Council, who will have the final say on the proposed measures. This allows the opportunity for more feedback from neighbors and the general public. By design, the entire process, from identifying the problem to picking the methods used to reduce speeding, engages the people who live in these areas.
Different neighborhoods have different sensitivities to speed. We want this to be a neighborhood-driven process from start to finish.
You can find more information about this process, including the documents needed to begin a petition, by visiting icgov.org/traffic studies. It's not often that the city needs to declare a snow emergency, but when it happens, it's extremely important that you know what to do. This has a major impact for on-street parking, and not being aware of the rules could be an expensive mistake. A snow emergency is designed to limit on-street parking during a large winter weather event in order for plows to completely clear the streets.
Trouble that a plow driver is going to have when there's parking on both sides of the street. It's very congested and we cannot get the snow to the curb where it needs to go.
This process has major impacts for those who park on the streets, so let's walk through the steps.
When is a snow emergency declared?
We try to make sure that a snow emergency is warranted. Other communities may just declare it when they see the snow coming, but it needs to be warranted because it is a very large event.
The city manager, the public works director, and the street superintendent review several factors during a winter event.
We look at how much snow is currently on the ground, what is forecasted, are there parking issues.
Once declared, how does a snow emergency impact on-street parking?
First rule, follow all existing street signs. Second rule, drivers must pay attention to whether it's an odd or even date. Streets that normally permit parking on both sides will switch to alternate parking. You can only park on the side of the street that corresponds with that odd or even date. For example, if a snow emergency is declared on the 13th, vehicles can be parked on the odd side of the street. The following day, the 14th, cars would need to be moved to the even side of the street. Streets that only allow parking on one side will still have to follow the marked traffic rules during a snow emergency. That means if parking is allowed on the odd-numbered side of the street, vehicles can park on that side only on odd-numbered days such as the 13th. But on even-numbered days, like the 14th, no parking would be allowed on the street. If you're on a street that already rotates alternative parking on the odd and even sides of the street, then you simply continue to follow those marked parking rules.
Once declared, how much time do you have to move your vehicle?
And we want to give people ample time to move their vehicles. Typically, the snow emergency would take effect 4 hours after we've called it.
If declared after 8 p.m., the snow emergency ordinance will not go into effect until 8 a.m. the following day. These emergencies will last at least 2 days, and even longer if conditions warrant. When a snow emergency is declared, the city allows vehicle owners to park in city ramps overnight, but they must be out by 7 a.m. to avoid charges. People can also use the parking lots in Lower City Park, Mercer Park, and Happy Hollow Park.
How do I know if a snow emergency has been declared?
The city will alert the public using several methods, but the most direct is to sign up for notifications through our e-subscription service. That allows you to get email or text alerts. Notifications will also be posted on the City of Iowa City's website, as well as Facebook, Twitter, and Nextdoor. Commuters would be alerted by traffic signs placed around town.
There are signs posted through the main thoroughfares as you come into town to notify you that there is a snow emergency taking place.
What are the repercussions if I don't follow the ordinance?
The consequences that you can face by not following the snow emergency is that your vehicle would likely be towed. There is a ticket that comes along with that, as well as a towing expense, and it can lead to upwards of $200 just in costs if you don't move your vehicle.
The city's goal is not to have this happen, so please make sure to stay alert in the event that a snow emergency is declared.
I'd like to thank all the residents for being patient with us. Our goal is to get people to and from where they're going as safely as possible, and that does take patience with all the residents that we have.
City Park has been a favorite spot for families to gather for decades. 2018 marked the end of an era for a summertime staple there, as well as a new beginning for a future investment into Iowa City's largest park.
This has been a place that Iowa City residents have been bringing their kids for several generations.
We've been coming here with the kids for about 18 years.
I've been going here since I was 2.
I've always thought it was amazing.
We are sad to see the rides go, but they're over 50 years old. It's time.
In 1952, the Drollinger family were unaware that they were starting a tradition that would last nearly 70 years.
People talk about bringing their kids, their grandkids.
The amusement rides in City Park were passed down for 3 generations. And when the family finally decided to sell off the rides in 1999, the city felt the need to step up.
Just a fun little respite from the rest of the world to come out here right on the river and ride the rides.
And for the past 2 decades, the city has staffed and operated the rides, keeping the summertime tradition around for families to enjoy.
I started bringing my 7-year-old when he was 2, so it's been kind of fun to watch him get brave on the Ferris wheel and actually do it today.
They love to come down here because the airplanes looked huge for them. The Ferris wheel looked huge to them, right? So this was this really cool place where they could come. And it's been a staple of their life for as long as they can remember.
From the merry-go-round to the train, every kid has their favorite ride.
My favorite ride is the airplanes because it's the fastest ride and I like things that go fast.
We always begged for the airplanes. We used to fight over what color we got, but do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
But as the kids continued to age, so did the equipment.
The fact is, though, they're just old. It's been very difficult to maintain them and keep them operating.
Constant equipment breakdowns and a lack of ADA compliance have been issues for years. With a heavy heart, the city had to make the tough decision to make 2018 the final season for the amusement rides. To commemorate their closure, the city offered free rides for the remaining months.
It's really great to see all these kids here today. It's wonderful.
Giving families a chance to come relive old memories.
We have lots of pictures, lots of video. My son is off at college now, so we sent him a video on the train.
The rides have since been auctioned off and found new homes. They will always hold a special place in the hearts of Iowa City residents. But as time moves forward, so will the park.
It's sad, but I think what's going to come is going to be really great too.
The city is considering different options for a unique, adventure-based playground, which will make the fun more accessible to everyone.
What we've decided to do is move towards a new and better playground area that can be open all the time, that won't require an admission charge, won't require staffing.
Having something that's open all the time whenever you can access it, I think is going to be a huge bonus.
The plan will also move the playground away from the river and out of the flood zone. Construction is expected to begin in the summer of 2019, paving the way for a new tradition that families can enjoy for years to come.
Over the next few years, you'll just see lots of smaller improvements take place, kind of rejuvenate this park to be the gathering space that it always has been.
That's our show. Thanks for watching. We'll be back with another episode of Iowa City in Focus.